Hello everyone, and welcome to this webinar aimed at providing you with an introduction to European Solidarity Corps. My name is Ariana, and I will be presenting to you today the following: Introduction to European Solidarity Corps, information on what actions are supported, what are the quality and support measures, and when to apply. The European Solidarity Corps is a new European Union initiative intended to bring young people together to build a more inclusive society, supporting vulnerable people and responding to the challenges facing society across the continent. The initiative offers an inspiring and empowering experience for young people who want to help communities learn and develop their competencies by funding a range of opportunities across a broad range of areas, such as integration of migrants, environmental challenges, prevention of natural disasters, education and youth activities, or measures to prevent radicalization, to name a few. What's different about this initiative is that a lot of emphasis has been placed by the European Commission on building a community of young people who have been, currently are, or would like to engage in solidarity activities across Europe. For example, the Corps app, Facebook page, and My House of European History website all offer a great platform to young people to interact and share their experiences. The European Solidarity Corps has two strands of funding, a volunteering strand and an occupational strand, each with separate application forms and slightly varied rules and eligibility requirements. The volunteering strand largely is based on the 20 years of experience and development of quality standards of the European Voluntary Service. The Corps projects must address solidarity-related topics such as inclusion, citizenship and democratic participation, disaster prevention and recovery, environment and natural protection, health and well-being, education and training, reception and integration of refugees and migrants. Of course, this list is not exhaustive and could be amended or added to as the initiative is developed. On the screen, you have the main objectives of the European Solidarity Corps: to promote solidarity as a value, mainly through volunteering, to enhance engagement of young people and organizations in accessible and high-quality solidarity activities, to strengthen cohesion, solidarity, democracy, and citizenship in Europe, whilst responding to specific societal needs with particular effort to promote social inclusion, to ensure participation of young people with fewer opportunities through a range of special measures, to contribute to European cooperation relevant to young people and raising awareness of its positive impact. As you can see, young people, and in particular those young people with fewer opportunities, are at the heart of the Corps. The initiative is managed at European level by the European Commission. They set the rules for the Corps, including types of projects, funding amounts, and eligibility criteria. They also decide on deadlines and manage the electronic application system. Part of the funding opportunities is managed directly by the European Commission in Brussels. The organization is the Education, Audiovisual and Culture Executive Agency. They manage all centralized actions, in 2018 being volunteering themes in high priority areas, which we will come on to later. In the UK, the Department for Education is responsible for overseeing the operation of the Corps. The UK National Agency is the body contracted to manage the delivery of the initiative. This includes promotion, receiving and assessing applications, selecting projects, contracting with and managing projects throughout their lifetime, down to closure, disseminating projects' outcomes. The UK National Agency is the partnership between the British Council and Ecorys UK, although all technical queries regarding application process should be directed to our European Solidarity Corps team at Ecorys. The eligible countries that can take part in the Corps are split into two categories: participating countries, being the member states of the European Union, and they can take full part in all of the actions of the Corps; partner countries, being EFTA countries, Liechtenstein, Iceland, and Norway; candidate countries, former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia and Turkey; and partner countries neighboring the EU from the Western Balkans, Eastern Partnership countries, South Mediterranean countries, and the Russian Federation. The full list can be found in the European Solidarity Corps Guide, pages 12 and 13. Partner countries can participate in some actions, so please check the Corps Guide for any restrictions applied in 2018. Full list of different categories of countries and any restrictions on participation are in the European Solidarity Corps Guide. Young people between 18 and 30 years of age are the main target group of the European Solidarity Corps. They can mainly get involved in the course throughout organizations that organize volunteering placements, traineeships, or job placements relevant to the Corps. To participate in the Corps, young people must register on the European Solidarity Corps portal first. They can register on the portal as of 17 years of age. However, they can only get involved in a solidarity activity when they reach 18 and must not be older than 30 at the start of the activity. Specific conditions for participating in a European Solidarity Course project depend on the action concerned, so we would advise to check the course guide for more details. European Solidarity projects are mainly submitted and managed by participating organizations. As a general rule, organizations must be established in a participating country or a partner country. However, there are some additional eligibility criteria for applicant organizations depending on the action concerned, so please check the guide for further details. Informal groups of young people can also apply, but only to run solidarity projects, which is one of the actions supported by the course, and we will cover this a little later in the webinar. There are a range of benefits to getting involved in the European Solidarity Corps for individuals, organizations, and communities. Although all these actors are very important, the young people, and especially those young people with fewer opportunities, are the main target group who generate positive change for organizations and communities through volunteering, traineeship, and job placements in solidarity-related areas. What you can see on the screen is some of the benefits that either young people, organizations, or communities might have by partaking in the European Solidarity Course. However, we are certain that the list goes beyond this. Now we will take a look at the specific actions supported by the Corps. The European Solidarity Corps initiatives runs from 2018 to 2020 and is structured around 4 actions as shown on the slide: quality label, volunteering, solidarity projects, and traineeships and jobs. Quality label is an organization's entry ticket for the European Solidarity Course. It is a prerequisite for participation in volunteering, as well as traineeship and jobs, but it does not automatically lead to a project grant. Quality label is not required for those wishing to apply for solidarity projects funding. As you can see on the slide, it is possible to implement 3 types of projects under the volunteering action: volunteering partnerships, volunteering projects, and volunteering teams in high priority areas. These types of projects are split between those managed by the national agencies in each participating country and those managed centrally in Brussels. The centralized projects are volunteering teams in high priority areas, and the application for these projects should be submitted directly to the European Commission's executive agency. As mentioned earlier, the quality label is the organization's entry ticket for the European Solidarity Course. It demonstrates that an organization holding a quality label complies with the course quality standards. It is therefore considered a prerequisite for participation in volunteering or occupational strand, traineeships and jobs, but does not automatically lead to a project grant, as it was earlier mentioned. In the practice, this means that there are different quality labels depending on the type of project your organization would like to run and what role your organization would like to take in the project. There is a quality label for volunteering, and you can apply for either a host or supporting role, or even both. And then you have a quality label for traineeships and a separate quality label for jobs. Although there are different types of quality labels, the same eligibility criteria apply, and you can find the full list on page 20 of the core guide. As mentioned earlier, for volunteering, an organization can apply for supporting and/or hosting role. Organizations' responsibilities will differ depending on their role in the project. You can find information and the complete list of the responsibilities of organization holding a quality label in the course guide on pages 16 to 21. The quality label is awarded for the entire duration of the programming period, 2018 to 2020, and will remain valid until the end of the last project in which the organization is involved. However, please bear in mind that checks and monitoring activities by the national agencies can take place at any time after the quality label has been awarded to verify that the organization still meets the quality standards. Applications for obtaining the quality label can be submitted at any time during the year, but keep in mind that you must have the quality label approved prior to the activity start date. Where the applications are to be made is dependent on the type of organization. For further detail, please check page 21 in the program guide, where you will also find the award criteria used to assess a quality label application. In broad terms, the following aspects are assessed: relevance and quality management of the organization. After being awarded the quality label, your organization will gain access to the pool of participants via the European Solidarity Corps Placement Administration and Support System, shortly known as PASS. This is also where you will generate the certificate for participants once a placement is finalized. How it works in practice. An organization can see young people's profiles and search for potential participants, or you can advertise opportunities and wait for them to contact you. The organization gets in touch with suitable candidates and invites them for an interview. A placement is offered for those approved. The participant carries out the activity, and finally, the organization issues a certificate upon completion, acknowledging the skills and competences acquired during the placement. It is compulsory for all participants to be registered on the European Solidarity Course portal and matched to the relevant volunteering placement, traineeship, or job placement through PASS. Let us now take a look at the volunteering. Volunteering activities represent those type of solidarity activities where a young person carries out a voluntary unpaid activity for a period up to 12 months. During this period, they are contributing to the daily work of the organization and using their volunteering as a main mechanism for promoting solidarity and social action as a value in order to ultimately benefit the local community. The activity undertaken by volunteers must help in overcoming important societal challenges and to address the needs of the local community. The aim of these volunteering activities with regards to the volunteers themselves is to ensure they acquire useful experience, skills, and competences for their personal, educational, social, civic, and professional development, thus improving their employability. A broad range of areas can include volunteering activities such as environmental protection, climate change, mitigation, and social inclusion, but do not include activities that are normally part of curricula in formal education, vocational education, and training systems, and activities for emergency response. Also, they should not substitute traineeships or jobs and should be based on written volunteering agreements. It is expected that volunteering activities will constitute a rich experience in a non-formal and informal learning context. Volunteers are to be selected in a fair, transparent, and objective way, regardless of any of their given characteristics. Furthermore, no previous qualifications, education level, specific experience, or language knowledge should be required. Volunteering activities can be implemented via three types of projects. Volunteering projects, which are the most common type, allows the applicant organization to apply for a European Solidarity Course grant in order to implement one or more volunteering activities. They can last from 3 to 24 months, and applications are to be made by 11 a.m. on 16 October 2018 to the National Agency. Volunteering partnerships, a specific project format at a larger scale, are designed to enable experienced volunteering organizations to develop and implement longer-term projects. These projects should statistically and strategically respond to important societal needs, contribute to strengthening communities whilst enabling young people to develop. With a duration of 3 years, it actually consists of 3 annual calls, 2018, 2019, and 2020, with each annual call covering a period of 18 months. Applications for volunteering partnerships are to be made by 11 a.m. on 16th of October 2018 to the National Agency. And lastly, you have volunteering teams in high priority areas, which is a distinct project type. Is designed to support activities by volunteering teams with a specific focus on thematic priorities defined each year at the EU level. For 2018, the following policy priorities are to be addressed: European cultural heritage, integration of third countries' nationals, including asylum seekers and refugees, and response to environmental challenges, including disaster prevention, preparedness and recovery, excluding immediate disaster response. It is important to note that for this type of activities, applications are to be made directly to the Education, Audiovisual and Cultural Executive Agency by 18th of February 2019. Please find full details in the European Solidarity Course Guide on pages 22 to 35. Now you can see on the screen the three formats of projects that can be implemented under the volunteering strand that we discussed earlier. And on the right-hand side of the table, you can see the type of activities that can be included. There are four types of volunteering activities that can be included. Two main ones are individual volunteering and volunteering teams. And as side activities, you can have advanced planning visits and complementary activities. As you can see, each project format can include specific types of volunteering activities. It is therefore important to note that regardless of what type of format the project has, the same requirements apply for specific types of activities. Let us take a look at the specific eligibility criteria for each. Individual volunteering activities. This is a full-time, unpaid solidarity activity having at least 30 or no more than 38 hours per week that can take place either cross-border or in-country. The duration can be of 2 to 12 months, excluding travel days. The exception to the rule is for those activities that involve participants with fewer opportunities, for which the minimum duration can start as from 2 weeks, excluding travel. Participants must be between 18 and 30 years of age, legally residing in the sending country. Please bear in mind that participants from a participating country can carry out their activity in both a participating or partner country. However, participants from partner countries must carry out their activities in a participating country. You have to have involved at least two organizations to participate in a cross-border activity, one as a host and one as a supporting organization, which is required for each country of origin of each participant. For in-country activities, however, you need to have at least one host organization. Volunteering teams. The duration of these could be 2 weeks to 2 months, excluding travel time. Activities must take place either in a participating or a partner country. Participants must be between 18 and 30 years of age, legally residing in a participating or a partner country. The activity needs to involve between 10 and 40 participants coming from 2 different countries, out of which one must be a participating country, and at least a quarter of the participants must come from abroad. You have to have involved at least one host organization. Advanced planning visits are visits to the host organization to ensure high-quality activities by facilitating and preparing administrative arrangements, building trust and understanding, and setting up a solid partnership. The duration is of maximum 2 days, excluding travel days. The number of participants is one representative per supporting organization. However, the number can be increased providing that all additional participants or volunteers with fewer opportunities partaking in the actual activity. Lastly, complementary activities look at relevant side activities designed to add value and augment the results of the project and to strengthen its impact at local, regional, and/or European level. Also, they aim to raise awareness of the value of volunteering. They could include job shadowing, meetings, workshops, conferences, seminars, training courses, coaching, etc. A maximum of 10% of the total budget can be allocated to complementary activities. Now that we had a look at what format of projects you can apply for and type of activities, we will look at the award criteria for each project format. Overall, it is important to remember that for all project proposals, you have to score at least 60 points and at least half of the maximum points under each criterion mentioned in the table. You can find the breakdown of requirements and what should be addressed within each section in the guide on pages 29 to 31. Let us take a look at the budget breakdown for these activities. There are 2 different types of funding, unit costs and actual or real costs. Unit costs is where the funding is calculated on a per participant basis with set rates for different elements. Actual or real costs is where the funding is specified by you and you justify within the application and for which you will need to submit receipts. I will briefly run through the individual budget headings, but please bear in mind this is a very brief run-through, so you can find the further details in the course guide on pages 32 to 34. First, you have the travel budget, which is a contribution to the travel cost of participants, including accompanying persons from their home country to the activity venue and return. So it is automatically calculated as a round trip. This is a unit cost based on the distance traveled per participant and is defined as the cost of the entire journey, including transfers. Travel distances will always be calculated using the distance calculator supported by the European Commission. Organizational support, another unit cost, has two subheadings, which is project management and activity costs. Project management will look at providing a unit contribution to costs linked to planning, finances, coordination, and communication between partners, administrative costs. The activity costs will be a contribution to the costs directly linked to the implementation of volunteering activities, including costs linked to the subsistence of participants. Inclusion support, yet another unit cost, is a contribution to costs linked to implementation of activities involving people with fewer opportunities, and it is based on the host country and the duration of the stay per participants, excluding accompanying persons. Eligible costs are those costs for preparation, monitoring and support of participants, validation of learning outcomes, excluding subsistence. Pocket money, another unit costs, cover the day-to-day costs incurred by volunteers during their placement for additional personal expenses. It is based on the host country and the duration of the stay per participant, excluding accompanying persons. The last unit cost that we have is linguistic support budget. This is for those activities that last between 2 and 12 months, as participants are entitled to linguistic support, which is available depending on the language concerned. The budget heading should be used to improve the knowledge of the language in which participants will volunteer before and during their stay abroad. However, it only applies to languages not offered by the Online Linguistic Support, also known as OLS, which is an online system used for assessing participants' knowledge of a language and online learning to improve their skills. Exceptional costs, it's a real or actual cost that covers the following: visa and visa-related costs, residence permits, and vaccinations. Costs for providing a financial guarantee if the national agency asks for it. Expensive travel costs of participants from outermost regions and overseas countries and territories. Costs to support the participation of young people with fewer opportunities on equal terms as others not covered by any other unit budget category discussed earlier. 100% of eligible costs claimed for exceptional costs will be reimbursed up to the budget category amount awarded on the condition that invoices and receipts are provided. Lastly, complementary activity, another real or actual cost, is based on real costs, and projects can apply for up to 80% of the total eligible costs directly linked to the implementation of the complementary activities of the project. Also, some indirect costs are eligible under this budget heading, namely a flat rate amount not exceeding 7% of the eligible direct costs of the complementary activities, representing the beneficiary's general administrative costs, which can be regarded as chargeable to the complementary activities, for example, electricity or internet bills, costs for premises, costs for permanent staff, etc. Now we will cover another action supported by the course called Solidarity Projects. Solidarity projects are in-country solidarity activities initiated, developed, and implemented by young people themselves in the country of residence of the participants, facilitating the participation of young people with fewer opportunities who may encounter difficulties to engage in transnational activities. These projects give participants the chance to express solidarity by taking responsibility and committing to bring positive change in their local community by identifying a clear topic they wish to explore together and then have it translated in concrete daily activities. The project should address key challenges within the community, but also clearly present European added value through addressing priorities identified at European level within the framework of the European Solidarity Corps. Participation in a solidarity project will also be an important non-formal learning experience for young people. It should foster initiative, active European citizenship, and entrepreneurial spirit. The young people carrying out the activities in a solidarity project may be supported by a coach. This would be a resource person who could have youth work experience to accompany groups of young people and support their participation, playing different roles depending on the needs of the given group. They can be volunteers or professionals, but must not be a project leader, consultant, a member of the group, or a legal representative of the project. More information regarding solidarity projects can be found in the course guide, pages 45 to 50. Now let us take a look at the eligibility criteria and award criteria for these projects. The applicants for solidarity projects can be the young people themselves in the format of a group of minimum 5 young people aged 18 to 30, legally residing in one and the same participating country, and have registered in the European Solidarity Course portal. One of them assumes the role of the legal representative and takes the responsibility of submitting the application. Or a public or private body on behalf of the group that will be implementing the project. Of course, some restrictions will apply in terms of the organization legal status, so please check with the UK National Agency before applying on behalf of a group. The project must take place in a participating country and can last between 2 to 12 months. Applications are to be made to the national agency where the applicant is legally residing by 11 a.m. on the 16th of October 2018. The award criteria can be seen on the screen. As before, for all project proposals, there has to be a score of at least 60 points and at least half of the maximum points under each criteria mentioned in the table. You can find complete breakdowns of the requirements and what should be addressed within each section in the course on page 48. On the slide, you can see a breakdown of the budget headings, the type of costs, and as you can see, the budget for Solidarity project is designed in a simple way to facilitate better access on information groups of young people to the core. Now I will run through the individual budget headings. First, you have a unit cost for project management. This is a budget heading for any costs directly linked to the management and implementation of the project. For example, preparation, implementation of activities, evaluation, dissemination, and follow-up activities. It is a unit cost based on the duration of the project. Then you have coaching costs. It is a unit cost linked to the involvement of a coach in the project. This is a unit cost based on the venue country and the number of working days of potential coaches involved. A clear justification needs to be provided in the application regarding the need of involving a coach. And then you have exceptional cost, which is the only real or actual cost for these type of projects and covers the following: costs to support the participation of young people with fewer opportunities. 100% of eligible costs claimed for exceptional cost will be reimbursed up to the budget category amount awarded on the condition that invoices and receipts are provided. Now we will cover the last action supported by the course, that being traineeships and jobs. Traineeships and jobs represent the occupational strength of the European Solidarity course. They provide young people with opportunities for full-time paid work, practice, or employment for between 3 to 12 months for jobs or 2 to 6 months for traineeships. The specific activities will focus on providing young people with opportunities that enhance their skills and experience, facilitating their employability and transfer on the labor market. They can be in-country or cross-border and in accordance with any applicable national legislation. Traineeships are periods of full-time work practice between 2 to 6 months, renewable once. In practice, this means that the traineeship can be renewed after the 6 months to carry up onto 12 months in specific cases where duly justified and involved young people with fewer opportunities who may need a longer traineeship period for their integration into the labor market. Please bear in mind that although there is a mentioning of remuneration with regards to traineeships in the course guide, organizations must ensure that applicable national legislation is adhered to. As remuneration for traineeships is not feasible within the UK under national legislation, if you wish to submit a traineeships application focusing on traineeships to the UK National Agency, you should only include traineeships outside of the UK. So you will be applying technically to send participants on traineeships outside of the UK. Jobs are periods of full-time employment between 3 to 12 months that are remunerated by the participating organization employing the course participant. Finally, all traineeships and jobs should be focusing on providing non-formal learning experience, therefore should not include activities that are part of curricula in a formal education, vocational education and training systems, and activities for emergency response. The applicants for Traineeships and Jobs project will be an eligible organization from a participating country holding the appropriate quality label. The project duration can be between 6 to 24 months and can involve multiple activities such as jobs and/or traineeships. The project must be delivered in a participating country, and the participants must be between 18 and 30 years old and be legal residents of the participating country and have been registered onto the European Solidarity Corps portal. The award criteria can be seen on the screen. For all project proposals, you will have to score at least 60 points and at least half of the maximum points under each criterion mentioned in the table. You can find complete breakdowns of the requirements and what should be addressed within each section in the course guide on page 40. Let us now take a look at the budget breakdown. On the slide, you can see a breakdown of the budget headings, the type, and I will run through individual budget headings. You can find further details for this specific activity project on the program guide on pages 32 to 34. The travel budget is a contribution to the travel costs of participants, including accompanying people, from their home country to the activity venue and return, so it is automatically calculated as a round trip. This unit cost is based on the distance traveled per participant and is defined as the cost for the entire journey, including transfers. Travel distances are always calculated using the distance calculator supported by the European Commission. Organizational support unit cost that has two subheadings for this specific budget: project management and activity costs. Project management looks at providing a unit contribution to costs linked to planning, finances, coordination, and communication between partners and administrative costs. The activity costs is a budget that is a contribution to the costs directly linked to the implementation of traineeships and jobs activities, excluding subsistence. Inclusion support is a unit cost in the format of a contribution to costs directly linked to implementation of activities involving people with fewer opportunities, and it is based on the host country and the duration of the stay per participant, excluding accompanying persons. Eligible costs are, for example, costs related to preparation, monitoring and support of participants, validation of learning outcomes, and is excluding subsistence. Relocation allowance, a unit cost that covers additional personal expenses for participants. It is based on the country and the duration of the stay per participant, excluding accompanying persons. The last unit cost that we have is linguistic support budget. For those activities that last between 2 and 12 months, participants are entitled to linguistic support, which is available depending on the language concerned. This budget heading should be used to improve the knowledge of the language in which participants will carry out their tasks before and during their stay abroad. However, it only applies to languages not offered by the Online Linguistic Support, OLS, which is an online system used for assessing participants' knowledge of a language and online learning to improve their skills. Exceptional costs is a real or actual cost that covers the following: visa and visa-related costs, residence permits and vaccinations, costs for providing a financial guarantee if the national agency asks for it, expensive travel costs of participants from outermost regions and overseas countries and territories, costs to support the participation of young people with fewer opportunities on equal terms as others if not covered by any other unit cost budget category mentioned earlier, and recognition of academic and/or professional qualifications. 100% of eligible costs claimed for exceptional costs will be reimbursed up to the budget category amount awarded based on the condition that invoices and receipts are provided. And the last budget heading that we have is another real cost: complementary activity costs. It is based on real costs, and projects can apply up to 80% of the total eligible costs directly linked to the implementation of the complementary activities of the project. Also, some indirect costs are all eligible under this budget heading, namely a flat rate amount not exceeding 7% of the eligible direct costs of the complementary activities, representing the beneficiary's general administrative costs, which can be regarded as chargeable to the complementary activities. For example, electricity or internet bills, costs for premises, costs for permanent staff, etc. Now let us take a look at some of the quality and support services offered by the Corps. The European Solidarity Corps provide a range of quality and support services for participants and participating organizations. A list of these is available on the slide. For example, non-formal learning is one of the key features of the European Solidarity Corps, and some of the quality and support measures of reinforcing the learning of participants include general online training, the online linguistic support, and the training and evaluation cycle. Every young person taking part in the European Solidarity Corps is entitled to go through the Youth Pass process and receive a Youth Pass certificate at the end of the process. Personal and specialist support through mentoring should be provided to all participants in volunteering, traineeships, and jobs. Organizations working with young people with fewer opportunities can apply for funding through inclusion support budget heading for reinforced mentorship that might be necessary to support young people if they are not able to implement activities independently. For further information on other quality and support services available through the course, please see Part C of the European Solidarity Course Program Guide. On the screen, you can see the deadlines for this round's application. It is important to note that for the quality label, any organization that wants to partake in European Solidarity Course and does not yet have a quality label can apply at any time during the year via the specific application form for the quality label. But the latest deadline for submitting a quality label application needs to be before the actual deadline for the grant application, as the organizations needs to have the quality label in place for the start of the activities. The only action that has a different deadline is the volunteering teams in high priority areas, which, as mentioned, is a centralized action, therefore dealt with in Brussels, and has the deadline of 18th of February 2019. All other deadlines are the same, 16th of October 2018 at 11 a.m. UK time. Please find on our screen now some links to places where you can find more information on the European Solidarity Corps. I would like to thank you for the time to listen to our webinar. We hope that it was very informative for you. However, please find on the screen details of where you can get in touch for application and program support, or for potential guidance or help from the communications team for events, publications, and promotion.